everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vanessa. I am a working psychic medium. If not, welcome back. I'm sitting with one of my favorite people ever, Antphrodite.
Hi everyone, I'm your pop culture psychic.
Okay, so in this video, I want to discuss a few things because people always ask me all the time, how do you get what you get? How do you hear things? How do you blah, 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 blah. And I know we talk all the time, but we don't ever really talk about how you get things versus how I get things.
Yeah.
And I feel like how I explain things sometimes, I try to make the most sense out of it that I possibly can.
Right.
And I feel like I fall short of that.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like I fall short of it. And then I always compliment you so much. I love how you articulate yourself.
Thank you.
You were just so good at explaining things so well. And I've always been so envious of that. And people tell me I articulate well, and I'm like...
Well, you know where that comes from, being consistently misunderstood.
Oh.
Yeah, as a kid.
I over-explain.
Yeah. Well,
Hi.
I mean, that's also a Gemini thing. We're both Gemini.
Hello, abandonment issues.
Yeah, literally, that too.
We say all mediums are psychics,
Right.
but not all psychics are mediums.
Correct.
So technically, I am a psychic medium,
Right.
and you would just be psychic, right?
Right, because you can contact the dead.
I can talk to dead people.
I can't. Yeah.
And you cannot.
Maybe one day.
I've always told you though, I really feel like if you really, 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 focused on it or tried or just kept making the effort, I think you could get there.
You want to know what's funny? I've always said that once I find my soulmate is when that ability will happen. I don't know why I've always felt that ever since I was little. I just feel like...
I would go with it.
I think it has to do with selfless energy. That's something that I want so bad in my life ever since I was little. It's once I have that, then I can give more to others.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
I really...
Or maybe I'm fucking crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people call me crazy.
Nah, well...
I'm like, well, Well, okay, so how I get things is I can hear them in my own head. Sometimes I feel like spirit guides are telling me because I have two. The one over here, she's really sassy, and the one over here, she's super calm and nice.
Okay.
And I totally think that goes with the Gemini thing too.
Yeah.
You have one that's a little bit fiery, and you got one that's a little bit calm. Sometimes I can feel thoughts in my gut, which is weird. I don't know how to explain it other than I feel a thought. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I just get random words in my head. Sometimes I see random images. So how do you get your stuff?
So, for those that don't know, and you just found this out last night, I do not have an inner voice.
I thought that was so weird.
I don't have a single inner voice. It's actually why sometimes I struggle to read things properly, and people, I mean, it's funny, so I laugh at it too, but I pronounce a lot of things wrong, a lot. But it's because I can't rehearse what I'm going to say in my head. So when you read a word, you know what that sounds like because you can hear it in your head.
Right.
But I can't. So if I don't the way I look at life is almost melodic. It's like jumping on waves. Everything I do is a wave. When I speak, I'm on a wave and I'm riding the wave till it ends. When I have a train of thought, I'm on a wave and I'm riding the wave. When I'm downloading information, I'm on a fucking wave. So when I do my readings, the thing that sets me apart from a lot of other people is I can jump on and off that wave. So I can go in and out of a channel whenever I want, like this.
Okay.
I could talk to a normal person, turn around, and I'm back in the channel, which is why a lot of times I'm staring at the cards, because when I'm staring at the cards, I'm in channel mode. When I move my face to the camera or to you, I'm out of the channel. I can go back and forth.
I can't do that. I can't. I get consumed.
Right. Well,
And
that's
then
how most people are.
And then half the time I'll see something, I'll go, oh, something shiny. And I'm like, oh shit, hold on, wait.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's how
Something will pull me back.
That's how most people are. For me, that's my difference, and it's because I don't have an inner voice. So the way I do it is jumping on a fucking wave. It's fucking weird.
So when you're reading cards and stuff like that, are you able to hear anything, or does the thought just come in your head?
So I say I'm hearing because
You have to explain it somehow.
Yeah, I have to explain it to you somehow.
Yeah.
But it's an absolute thought.
Okay.
So it's not a word that I hear.
Okay.
It's so hard to describe this to you.
Sometimes it's in my head I hear it as kind of an idea, oh, what about this?
That's kind of what it is.
Okay.
So it's it's not I'm hearing something, but I can tell you there's a few things. One, I see in pictures. Everything's in pictures, so I see a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
And a lot of pictures and videos. The readings we just did on my channel, I've been starting to see things more. That's like I've been getting, my ability's been growing stronger where I'm starting to see pictures. So that's really been helping. But there's this thing where like I start fidgeting and people start noticing like I like do things with my hands and I start fidgeting. And
that's why I don't go on camera when I do readings half the time, because I'll move around, I'll stare at something like the whole entire time. I mean, you've seen me when I've done readings for you. I'm like,
yeah, it's like a fidget.
You know, yeah.
And it's like I just start speaking. I don't know what I'm saying. It's just coming out, and that's like the channel.
Like word vomit.
Yeah, it's like it just flies out of my mouth. I don't know why I said something I said, or I'll think of something that I normally wouldn't think of, or whatever.
Yep.
And so it's like a lot of pictures and a lot of that. Also, what I've learned is like where it's coming from. Girl,
Okay.
Not the background.
There's some struggle back there.
Girl.
There's some struggling going on in the kitchen.
For me, my feelings are up here, okay? And psychic hits are down in my gut, down here.
You know what? You've always taught me that, to like trace where that thought is coming from.
So you guys can see.
Well, okay, so I get sometimes in my chest, but most of the time I get it under my breasticles.
Right, because that's your gut.
Yeah, and it hits hard sometimes.
And
sometimes
so when I'm getting like a thought or whatever you want to say, like, sorry, I'm staring at myself, I'm trying to see if I can point. So like this is my forehead, right? So it's like the thought comes from this side of my head, my brain. Sounds psychotic, but this is my thought. If it comes from the back of my head.
That's where mine comes from.
Yeah, it's
in the
not
back of my head.
Yeah, it's
I was
the
going to
back.
say, like, mine comes from
It's like
back
someone
here.
stuck a plug in your head, bitch, and you
Right.
just like downloaded like a CD-ROM, girl.
It is so good. Like, we never talk about this.
No.
Like, we don't. We talk all the time, but we don't really talk about
Yeah,
this,
it's
you know?
true. Well, people think all the time that all I do is talk about psychic shit and shit. And in my personal life, I don't.
No,
I talk about
yeah.
boys.
We do. We talk about boys. No, but I mean, it's so good to like hear how you get things, because like even though you get things differently, we sometimes get things similar.
Right.
And it's like it feels good to have like a little bit of validation and being like, okay, I know I'm not nuts because you know you're getting things the similar way. No, the dog's
The
here.
dog. Go away.
The dog's here. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple things. Two. This video is so
The
funny.
peanut gallery, baby.
Okay, two things that I always try to explain to people, and we literally talked about this briefly last night.
Right.
And I think the way you explained it is so good. So the first thing is that for me, when someone takes their life,
Right.
a lot of times there are certain beliefs that they go somewhere else versus coming somewhere else, no matter what you believe in, you know?
Right.
But to me, I've always noticed that they go in what I would call a remedial area. So to me, it's kind of like the rehab for the afterlife. So, and I always kind of feel like that happens because they can rest peacefully.
Right.
You know, like the help that they should have gotten, or, you know, people wish they would have gotten while they were living, they're getting it now. So what
Right.
is your take on that?
So my understanding, and this is something that I've seen in my meditations, and it's definitely not 100% set in stone, but from what I interpreted, and this is what I see, could be wrong. When you die, you go through a life review. And so,
that's what I call the download of perspective.
Right.
Yeah, that was the other part that we were going to talk about.
Right. So for me, when you die, you know that thing in Harry Potter where they look into the water and they can see everyone's point of view and perspective they can. It's like a thing. That's what it's like. You are able to see how other people saw you and perceived you, and how you perceive them. So like, for instance, let's say that you were a mom and you treated your child horribly, right? You would be forced to look at your child and how they saw you and all the abuse.
Like through their eyes and stuff.
Yeah, the abuse that they endured because of you.
Right.
And that's how you learn, which makes sense because we always have the thing of like learn to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. Well,
Right.
you're forced to when you die. You don't get away from the things
Yeah.
that you did. You have to learn what you did was wrong.
Right.
And I believe, especially when someone takes their life, I believe most of the times when you take your life, you're put in a, not necessarily a different place, but a different section.
To me, I think there's 3 layers.
Okay.
I think there's 3. And I think it goes from like level 1, where it's
Right.
like just normal people that need help, you know, normal things. Level 2 is like a little bit more intense. And I think level 3 is for people that take their life.
Okay.
Because I've noticed that I can get to people that are on level 1 and 2. I can't get to 3s.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I can get to them if it's been a longer period of time
Right,
since
'cause
they
they-
passed. and I think they've been through
They're
it, and
rehabilitated.
they're like out.
Yeah, they upgraded.
Yeah, I
Like
guess.
a hotel room,
See,
bitch.
this is why you were so much better at this, because I don't know how to explain it other than like how I see it. You know.
Well, because there's different levels of soul's growth. That's what it is. And you incarnate in this life to learn lessons. Why, I don't fucking know. Okay, the source. I don't have that answer yet.
Yeah.
But you learn lessons, and then you have to get to a certain level to be one with the source. And so that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which is why you can't go past like great grandma usually, because they're already up there.
You're not going to reach
Right.
it.
So they're at
They've
a
been there
level
for a
you
little
can't
while.
reach. Right. And I believe when people take their life, they're put, you know, somewhere where they really have to kind of learn, because they took an exit point that wasn't for them.
And they're starting like literally from the ground up almost.
Yeah.
Like it's like severe rehabilitation.
But I feel, so like, I believe there's a section for people who do things like that, yes. But I also believe that there's a section for people who do horrible things. Like serial killers, abusers, stuff like that. I think they are not allowed in with everyone else. And it takes them a long time for their soul to really learn the lessons to be evolved.
I think that, see, I wouldn't necessarily say that a serial killer was there.
Okay.
I do believe that there is a negative for the positive.
Like a hell.
Technically, I guess, for lack of a better term, yes, a hell. I've had little bits and pieces of visions with like some darker things that I've run across.
Right.
And I was shown certain things.
Right.
And that really inferred to me that there is like a hell. The other thing that really made me feel like there is a hell was, I think I talked to you about this before, like a long time ago when I still lived in Orlando. Did I ever tell you about the images that I caught on my back camera?
Yep.
And to me, as soon as I saw that, I knew that that was a soul collector, and they were coming to fucking collect. And they're not collecting to go somewhere nice.
Right.
You know, so that to me is more of like confirmation again, like, okay, there has to be a negative there. And then sometimes I have tried to do work where I'm looking for someone for like a connection when I'm working, doing mediumship. And I couldn't get to them over and over and over and over and over again. And then I thought to myself, like, you know, sometimes they just don't want to talk. They don't want to be disturbed. And I respect that boundary 100%. Right. And then she started telling me about how this person lived their life. And I went, oh, he's not there.
Got it.
Like and it wasn't my own thought. It was the back of my head going, bitch, he ain't there. Well, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, shit. And I didn't say anything. Sure. But yeah, but it's like all those like little things are like small confirmations, I guess. I keep doing this. It's my puzzle pieces.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, so for me, I definitely struggle with the idea of a burning for all eternity torture.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that.
No, I have this theory that hell is earth. Because I don't really feel like there's anything worse. People are like, oh, you're burning for all eternity. I'm like, there are people that are burning for all eternity on earth right now.
Yeah, true.
So for them, it would be like, girl, it's the same. You know what I mean? People are getting tortured every day. It's a sad truth, but it's the truth. I mean, but like for real, there's so much psycho, crazy people and crazy stuff that's happening, like this horrible shit all over the world. Like, how could something be worse than what we already experienced? You know what I mean?
True.
And so for me, the way I see it is I believe that the way I feel, and again, I could be wrong, I feel like the light has organization. Okay? When you cross into the light, beings that are good, whatever you want to call it, there's organization. Okay?
Yeah.
And there's a system. Beings of the dark are anarchy. They all do whatever the fuck they want. And so I believe they all operate under different systems. That's why I don't know if I necessarily believe in a hell, because a hell requires organization. And the way I feel is that it's chaos and every man for themselves. I believe in demons, negative spirits. I believe you can sell your soul. I believe that there are certain things that can trap you or take things from you or keep you there. I don't believe that they're there forever. I do believe there are ways to get out. Harder than shit.
Easier said than done.
Yes.
Yeah,
but I do believe there are ways to get out. But I believe that exists.
There is an option,
Right. So for me, I don't know if I would say I see it as hell as much as I see it as individual cages.
Yeah. To me, like, I wish that, it kind of sounds dark, but I wish that I could know a little bit more, just because, I mean, one, natural curiosity, and two, I think in our line of work, we get asked this kind of stuff all the time.
Well, you know what I was always wondering, and I have this theory, I'm like, what if you sold your soul, right? What if your punishment isn't to be in hell, but your punishment is to stay on earth as an earthbound spirit trapped somewhere?
That's a possibility.
Because that's fucked up.
There are some
horrible.
spirits sometimes that I've seen that I've like run across, like just out and about sometimes. And you can tell if they've been there for a very long time.
Right.
And I've literally asked them like, hey, why aren't you going? And they're like, I can't.
Well, sometimes
I
they have
can't.
something they're supposed to do, and sometimes I do think that maybe that's like
They get stuck.
Yeah, maybe there's a punishment, or maybe there's attack. I don't
be.
know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
those
could
are
be.
things hopefully I'll learn.
I know.
as I
You know
go
what's so
on,
weird? It's like people ask me all the time. They're like, you know, I don't pretend to know anything I don't know. You know, I'm straight up bitch. I'm gonna tell you if I know or tell you if I don't.
You want to know what it is?
Yeah, and there's so many things like I want to know, and then a lot of times people ask
Right.
me like, well, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, well, how can you find out? Who am I gonna call?
So what people don't understand, and this is something I get frustrated about, is like they treat you as like this Gandhi-like person who's like this godlike being who knows everything.
Right,
When
yeah,
in
definitely
reality,
not.
all we are good listeners. We are able to hear and see things that you can't. So
Right.
for us, we're basically think of it as like eavesdropping on a conversation. It's a game of telephone, number one.
Oh yeah,
It's a complete game of
you use
telephone.
the same words to me. I always tell people like, listen, I'm just a messenger. It's like a game of charades or telephone.
Yes,
is
that's
what I tell
exactly
them.
what it is.
Like, when I get information from spirits all the time, they can show me a picture.
Right.
They can show me an imagery. They can put thoughts in my head.
Right.
Sometimes I see like little bits and pieces of like a movie, or I
Right.
explain it as like a lot of times, you know, those like little flip books.
Right.
And every page is like a little movement. It's like I see it like that sometimes, but then like there's some pages missing.
Well, also, there's also certain things like I know right off. Like I can tell someone's intentions within 2 seconds
yeah.
of meeting them. Intentions
Yeah.
is easy for me.
Oh, yeah.
That's why like all my friends always joke that like I'm so like they never believe me until they're around me for all. Like you can always tell when someone has a crush on someone. I'm like yes, within 2 seconds I can tell the way someone looks on someone if they think they're cute or if they think that they're ugly or whatever, or if they want to date them or they whatever. I can immediately. I'm always right.
Yep.
And that's something that I'm very confident because I can spot intentions.
Intention is super easy
It's very
to
easy
feel and see on
because
people.
you're protruding that into your aura.
It's
so
like
it's right there.
it's like you push that energy out,
Right.
and then like we just pick it up.
Yes.
You know, like we're just like,
Right.
ooh,
Yeah.
You know
It's
what
like
I
it's
mean?
like it's like an on or off switch, and it's like it's right there. It's like whether you're red or green, like we can tell. So
Yeah.
that's something that's easy, but other things like specifics, no. And asking specific questions, girl. The amount of times I ask a specific question and I don't get shit. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I wish
It
I could know for
happens.
myself.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. I mean, I would say more. It happens a lot less than it does happen to me. But sometimes people ask me things, and I'm just like, I can't give you an answer on that. And they're like, well, don't you know something? Well, no, if it's just not. And I always tell them, like, listen, either I'm not allowed to know, or
Yep.
you're not allowed to know.
Yep.
I don't know the rules,
Yep.
but I'm gonna play by them.
We're only allowed to give you the information.
We're allowed
We
to
are
get-
a vessel, not an all-knowing being.
Right.
It's not our ability, it's our hearing or our sight. That's what I
Yeah.
try to tell people. We're a tool.
Yeah, pretty. Just use me.
No, it's true.
Just
No,
use
it's true.
me.
You know when you were a kid and you played with the paper towel rolls and you would like connect them and like talk through them? That's like us. We're the paper towel roll, bitch.
Yeah.
The empty
Pretty
toilet
much.
paper roll, girl.
Pretty much, we're the people with the cup and the string, bitch.
Yeah,
and we're
girl.
just like, huh?
And then when they're done, they're using it to measure their what.
Oh my god.
Not the paper towel
the
roll
paper towel.
challenge. But it's true. It's true.
I'm glad that, we can talk about how you get things versus how I get things. Because people, that's like the number one question. And I think so many people are so like fascinated by people like us. We're just normal, but we're just a little special. but normal. But, I just think it's so cool. Like, I don't know anyone else that's like a medium. And I would love to know someone that's like a medium. And I'm like, okay, well, how do they show you things? Like, because it's curious to me, like, I need more people like me.
Well, maybe someone will see this video, reach out.
Maybe. Message me. All right, guys, well, we'll see you on the next one. Make sure you go check out Antphrodite. I'm sure you guys all know him anyway, but if you don't, he will be linked down below. And I'm glad that you guys stuck around for the video, and I'll see you later.
Bye, guys.